The Pilgrim's Progress in Modern English, Chapter 8. They continued their journey until they reached the Delectable Mountains, which belonged to the Lord of that hill we mentioned earlier. As they ascended the mountains, they admired the gardens, orchards, vineyards, and fountains of water. They drank from the fountains, washed themselves, and ate freely from the vineyards. At the tops of these mountains, they saw shepherds tending their flocks, standing by the highway. The pilgrims approached them, leaning on their staffs, as weary travelers often do when stopping to talk, and asked, "Whose delectable mountains are these, and whose sheep graze upon them?" The shepherds replied, "These mountains are Emmanuel's land, and they are within sight of his city. The sheep are his as well, for he laid down his life for them." Christian then asked, "Is this the way to the celestial city?" The shepherds answered, "Yes, you are on the right path." Christian continued, "How far is it from here?" The shepherds replied, "Far enough that only those who are truly destined to reach it will make it." Christian asked, "Is the way safe or dangerous?" The shepherds answered, "It is safe for those for whom it is meant to be safe, but sinners will stumble on it." Christian asked again, "Is there any relief here for pilgrims who are weary and faint?" The shepherds answered, "The Lord of these mountains has commanded us to always welcome strangers. So everything good here is available to you." Then I saw in my dream that when the shepherds realized the travelers were pilgrims, they began to ask them questions, just as others had done. They asked, "Where did you come from? How did you get on this path? And what has helped you stay on it?" For they said, "Very few who begin this journey ever make it to these mountains." When the pilgrims answered, the shepherds were pleased. Looking kindly at them, the shepherds said, "Welcome to the Delectable Mountains." The shepherds, whose names were Knowledge, Experience, Watchful, and Sincere, then took the pilgrims by the hand and brought them to their tents. There they shared what they had prepared for them. The shepherds also said, "We hope you will stay here for a while to get to know us better and to enjoy the good things these mountains offer." The pilgrims agreed to stay, and because it was already very late, they rested for the night. The next morning, I saw in my dream that the shepherds called Christian and Hopeful to walk with them on the mountains. As they walked, the view was beautiful on every side. Then the shepherds said to one another, "Shall we show these pilgrims some wonders?" When they agreed, the shepherds took them first to the top of a hill called Error. This hill was very steep on the far side, and the shepherds asked the pilgrims to look down. When Christian and Hopeful did so, they saw at the bottom several men who had been dashed to pieces by falling from the top. Christian asked, "What does this mean?" The shepherds replied, "Have you not heard of those who were led astray by Hymenaeus and Philetus, who erred concerning the resurrection of the body?" Christian and Hopeful answered, "Yes, we have heard of them." The shepherds continued, "Those you see dashed to pieces at the bottom of this mountain, are they? To this day, they remain unburied as an example to others to beware of climbing too high or coming too close to the edge of this mountain." Then the shepherds took them to the top of another mountain called Caution. From there, they asked the pilgrims to look far off. When they did, they saw what looked like several men walking among tombs. The men appeared to be blind, as they stumbled against the tombs and could not find their way out. Christian asked, "What does this mean?" The shepherds answered, "Did you not see, just below these mountains, a stile that led into a meadow on the left side of the path? The pilgrims replied, "Yes, we saw it." The shepherds explained, "From that stile, a path leads directly to Doubting Castle, which is kept by Giant Despair. Those men you see among the tombs once walked this pilgrimage as you do now. But when they reached that stile, the right path became rough, so they turned aside into the meadow. There, Giant Despair captured them and took them to Doubting Castle, where he eventually put out their eyes and left them to wander among the tombs." This fulfills the words of the wise man. "He who wanders out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead." Hearing this, Christian and Hopeful looked at each other with tears streaming down their faces, but said nothing to the shepherds. Then I saw in my dream that the shepherds took them to another place, at the bottom of which was a door on the side of a hill. When they opened the door, they asked the pilgrims to look inside. When they did, they saw only darkness and smoke. They thought they heard the sounds of fire, cries of torment, and the smell of burning brimstone. Christian asked, "What does this mean?" The shepherds answered, "This is a byway to hell, a path that hypocrites enter. These include people like Esau, who sold his birthright, Judas, who sold his master, Alexander, who blasphemed the gospel, and Ananias and Sapphira, who lied and pretended to be something they were not." Then Hopeful said to the shepherds, "I see that these people had the appearance of being pilgrims, just like we do now, didn't they?" The shepherds replied, "Yes, and they kept it up for a long time too." Hopeful asked, "How far did they go on their pilgrimage in their time, since they were still miserably cast away in the end?" The shepherds answered, "Some went farther, and some didn't even make it as far as these mountains." Then the pilgrims said to each other, "We need to cry out to the strong one for strength." The shepherds added, "Yes, and you'll need to use it when you get it too." By this time, the pilgrims wanted to continue their journey, and the shepherds wanted them to move forward as well. So they walked together toward the edge of the mountains. Then the shepherds said to one another, "Let's show the pilgrims the gates of the celestial city, if they have the skill to look through our perspective glass." The pilgrims gladly accepted the offer, so the shepherds took them to the top of a high hill called Clear and gave them the glass to look through. When they tried to look, the memory of what the shepherds had just shown them made their hands shake. Because of this, they couldn't hold the glass steady. Even so, they thought they saw something that looked like the gate, and even a glimpse of the glory of that place. Then they left, singing, "Through the shepherds, secrets are revealed, which are kept hidden from everyone else. Come to the shepherds if you want to see deep things, hidden things, and great mysteries." As they were preparing to leave, one of the shepherds gave them a map of the way. Another warned them to beware of the flatterer. The third told them to be careful not to fall asleep on the enchanted ground. And the fourth wished them God's blessing. Then I woke up from my dream.